Hello guys, welcome to Online Web Tutor presented by Profotech Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning CodeIgniter Framework Beginners tutorial and this is our part 9. Inside this video session guys, we will see about the difference of active record query as well as regular query. And also guys, if you're a beginner to this channel then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions to get the clear concept about CodeIgniter Framework tutorial. So in our previous video session guys, we had done about the insertion of data in our database table. So if I remember, then if you go to editor, inside site model.php, we have used two different types of queries to insert our data inside table. Now as we can see that if I uncomment this line, this is one of the query that we have written in which we have passed the table name and the data what we have to insert inside that. This is known as active record query. Now, as we can see here, we have also another way to insert the data inside table, something called regular query. This is only the SQL command that we have used for that, like insert into table name, column names and the values. So we are going to compare what are the basic difference between writing this query, also with this query, what is the benefit and what is the better way to do that. All these things we are going to compare that. This is called regular query. This is called active record query. So back to slides. Now we have some points to compare all these things. Firstly, regular query are maybe errorful like syntax error, code error, but in case of active record query are perfect. What basically it means, if you back to editor, now as we know that while writing our regular queries, we have to know the syntax. Either this is only for the insert operation. Suppose we are going to update some data, we are going to delete some data. So all these things actually needs the knowledge of queries of these things. So while writing these things, it may be possible that we actually forget to add some of the things like here comma, here bracket. So might we will get some syntax error while writing these query. So this is all about the first point, that while writing our queries, might we get some syntax errors or the code logic errors. But in case of active record query, if you back to editor, this is the thing that we only need to do. This is our table name and all we have to pass the data, and data is in array format, what we have done here. So back here, this is the data that we have passed. So simply in case of the second way, we need not to write any of the query, that we have what we have written inside here. So here we didn't get any code logic errors or something, let's say syntax errors. This is the neater and cleaner way to write the queries. So this was our first point of comparison. Now next, regular query are database dependent query where active records query are not. What does it means? Back to editor. If we go inside our config folder, inside this folder we have a file something called database.php. So if I open this file, now inside this file, as we have discussed that this file is used to connect our database with our application. Not with a single database, it will connect with a multiple database. So like Oracle, like PDO, like something PostgreSQL and MySQLi. So many more actually DB drivers it supports. So database.php file is one of the most important file of database connectivity inside a CodeIgniter application. So the second point is regular query are database dependent. Obviously, if suppose we have written some of the query like here, but as we know that all the database have their own syntax to write our queries. Suppose this is the query actually supported by our MySQL and the SQL. Suppose in case of Oracle, in case of PDO, it will be different. So in those conditions, it will not work. Suppose we have made an application. In that application, we have used PostgreSQL, our database. Now we are going to write our insertion query to insert some data. Now we haven't used about active record query. We have used our regular query. Now inside regular query, this is the query not valid. So you will get some errors while inserting data. So this is only the database dependent. Now, if you are talking about the active record query, it is not database independent. This is, as we can see that here we have to pass the table name and the data. Behind the scene, the CodeIgniter application compiles the query and it will automatically generates the query according to our database. So it is totally independent of database. means it has no dependency on the database, what database we have connected here. So this was our second point. Back to slides. Active record query are more safer than regular query in terms of SQL injection. So as I think that guys, you know the term about the SQL injection. It means that suppose we are taking some values from our user. Suppose we have a form like contact us form or any of the feedback form where we are getting some of the request variables from the user, something like name, email, address, and several fields we have. So we are getting those values and we are trying to insert those values in our database table. Suppose always not user is going to pass the valid values. In case he will pass some invalid values also, might it may pass the SQL queries. So if we back to editor, now inside regular query, as we can see that insert table name, and this is the value that we have passed. Now these are the value basically comes from the user side, means we have a form. Inside that form we have to pass the name, email and the phone number, and these are the values we are getting from the user. Now suppose user has filled in place of this name a SQL query. What does it means? It means that we have placed a SQL query instead of the sample name. So we have not handled this SQL injection right here because this is our regular query. But inside active query, it is automatically handled by CodeIgniter. Means we have to pass only the table name and the data. The rest of the SQL injection part or database dependency, it will automatically handle while compiling this code. So here, active record query is more safer from our regular queries. So back to slides. Now what we have next. Fourth point is that in terms of development perspective, active query are more faster than regular query. So because as we can see that, go to editor. Now these are the things that we have written. This is all about regular query and this is all about active query. Inside this, if you are typing about the command, if you are typing about the insert command, suppose in case of our database table has something 25 columns, and all the 25 columns we are going to insert by the help of this regular query. So it will take a longer query to write all the values and all the columns to that table. So it will take time to insert all the values on those columns. But remember, inside our active query, only we need to pass about the column names inside here as the key name inside this array and the values. Rest all done. After passing this data array values, we are going to insert inside this table. So all we have to do, only the things. So the development prospective time period, it will take much lesser time than this. So this is our fourth point. Now all these things guys, actually by comparison we can find that regular query is not better than active record query. Active record query is much faster than these things. Also while getting these things, actually we are not get any error while writing our commands. Only the thing we need to do is that we need to actually know about the syntax, how to use these things inside CodeIgniter application. So in our upcoming videos guys, we will discuss about not about the insert things. We are going to learn about some update operations, delete operations also while selecting all these records from our database table. So much more things we are going to do with our database, and also we will learn some different things inside our database, so that how can we connect with a multiple database. We will also see in our upcoming videos what is the use of, let's say that db prefix, let's say db debug, something, what is the values of these parameters we have to pass. We will learn in our upcoming videos. In our project, we have made about the two different databases. Now how can we connect our CodeIgniter application with those databases? It means that we are going to actually use two databases at the same time inside a single application. So how can we achieve that? All these things we will cover in our upcoming videos. So just go ahead and save this file. So all we have completed about the demo of this comparison chapter. So if you have any doubt inside this video session guys, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day.